Okay, let's talk through all these golf events that you have coming up.
Gabby, I'm glad you asked. Got my calendar right here. July 17th at Red Run, and then July 31st, I have the American Golf Outing for the Cancer Society.
I also have the American Cancer Society golf outing on the 31st, and also I got yours on the 18th, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Whoa, boys, these are a lot of events and golf outings.
Well, you want me to miss my own golf tournament?
Gabby, they're all great colors.
I mean, this is
Hold on. I got this. Guys, I got this. Don't worry about it. Hold on a second.
He always.
Hey guys. Thanks for coming so fast. How are ya? Remember the guys from Randy Wise, right? Sir. The Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour.
Watch for the eye.
It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Some of the biggest names in Michigan sports. And some, well, not so much. Brought to you in part by Premier Security Solutions, Fairway Packing Company, and Swiss Insurance. Watch episodes at woodwardsports.com. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Big D Energy here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal Ruhl. Sam Flannel in for Darren McCarty, who is off today. So you know what that means. We have BMG in the house. Big Mike Gentry in the all-white tee, doing it the way he does it. BMG, the white tee. What up, man?
What's up? Yep, white tee. It's hot as shit outside, so we're rolling with the white tee.
And you know it's a big package Friday, so Spencer Raxter will be involved at some point. Spenmo, what's popping?
Not much. Feeling good. Ready for the weekend, that's for sure.
Getting ready for the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't wait. It's becoming fast one of my favorite Big D Energy Friday show traditions in the last segment.
Oh, yeah.
To ask what Spencer's doing for the weekend.
Oh, yeah, because you know Spencer's got something popping. Spencer's a young man. He's sowing his wild oats, something that I did to
What?
I mean, that's that.
And up next, Sam Flannel for War Bonds.
Is that not a saying anymore? Does that make me an old man that I say sow your wild oats?
Yes, it does.
All right, then.
Happy to have everybody in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread as well. Make sure you subscribe to the Big D Energy podcast. Detroit Dabber 313 first in says, what up, though? What up? Happy to have you all with us here today. And you know what it is. It's the biggest of Big Package Friday. You know how this works. We take our packages, we put them on the table, and then we talk about it.
Oh, it is one of the most wonderful days of the year. It is a tradition unlike any other. The Masters, you can move aside. Big Package Friday is where it's at. And the best Big Package Fridays are the ones that occur on Friday right after Game 1 of the NBA Finals. I don't know about you guys, but I love the NBA Finals. It's where legacies are cemented, where the great become legends, and it looks like one guy is going to become even more immortalized than he already is.
And it's funny, too, because in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread, Jonesy says, I just want to say thanks to the Heat for completely effing up the NBA Finals. I don't know about that. Your blame lies more with Boston, I'm guessing.
Boston would have got smoked, too.
That's true. You weren't stopping what's happening here. Zachary Jones, Neal, I need that Jokic segment. Look, I'm not one to gloat. That's not how I operate. Maybe you'll get it later. We'll see. We'll see what it's going. I did come across. You guys know how I like to weave everyday life into the show. Not what's your favorite hamburger 248. No, we're not doing that bit. But I do like to weave events of my life in because it's the same for everybody. We all live this similar kinds of lives. Yesterday, my son and I were kind of on our own because my wife had school obligations with my daughter and stuff like that. So we went to the local Coney Island for dinner. He said,
Okay.
Hey, you want to go to Coney Island? Let's go to Coney Island. Yeah, cool. You know what? Let's do it. So he orders some fries, asked for some ketchup. They bring over the ketchup, and they bring it over in this iconic bottle. And I don't care what anybody says. It can be the same ketchup. You can have the ketchup in its actual bottle, pour it out into this bottle, and that ketchup in this red bottle will taste better. That ketchup bottle makes ketchup taste better. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it does, Spenmo.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're right. I've filled up many of those bottles. in the lives of my Coney days.
Yeah.
You know, normally you get ketchup in a big, like, 5-gallon bag.
Package.
And you package and you throw it in this little ketchup thing and dispense it into those bottles. But, yeah, it works.
Real Cream of Wheat says it's called germs. I don't know what it's called. I don't. It is better. That is a scientific fact. In practice, in theory, all of it. Sam, it's better. I don't care what you say.
I would say that those ketchup bottles are overrated at Heinz's. I'm kidding. No.
Legend-killing ketchup bottles.
No, not legend-killing ketchup bottles. The thing is, when you squeeze it, it comes out perfectly. It's not all globby and everything. You can just sprinkle it all over the fries. No, I actually agree with you on this one. When I see that ketchup bottle, I just get excited. Whoa. I mean, you said that you did yesterday.
Yeah, 100%. It made me. It made me have a couple of fries. I was like, oh, we got the red ketchup bottle?
That's fair.
To quote a good friend of ours, how can you not?
How can you not?
You have to.
I love you, Fish.
Yeah, shout out Fish.
What about the level of sugar in ketchup?
I was going to say the same thing.
No, I mean, it's not like I ate 5 tablespoons of it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I had a couple fries.
Okay.
Dabbed it in there. Because it's good, man.
It is good. It's good ketchup.
And it doesn't, again, I can't understand it. You could literally pour ketchup out from a bottle into that bottle.
Yeah.
And then taste test the 2 ketchups. And the one in the red bottle is going to taste better.
That's true.
I don't know how it is. I don't know why it is. But it just is.
It's the things in life, the things that make you go, right? And I would agree with you one. I'm on a roll today, aren't I? Just like pause.
Are you all right? You want to start over?
No, I am wonderful.
He's sowing his wild oats.
Yeah.
Hey, not me. I had those days to a much lesser degree, I'm sure, than you, Spenmo Rex.
I have a good time.
Yeah, man. Mr. K-Wells 4 says it's time to let the big package hang out. It is. It's Friday. You know how we do it. We have the Lions nickel package. We have the NFL nickel package. We have a college football nickel package. We have a Tigers starting 5 package coming your way. 5 for fighting, inspired by Darren McCarty. It's in the trademark, I have to say it that way. 5 questions about the NHL.
Package.
We have a Sam Flannel fast break as well. Which, by the way, I heard another show in town use the terminology fast break.
Oh, yeah.
In a segment that's wildly similar to how we've been doing it for a while.
Makes sense.
I'm just saying, it's just something I know. Like the red ketchup
wants
bottle.
our packages. It's just, you know.
Our packages are pretty popular.
Yeah, they're pretty popular. Everybody wants a piece of the package.
Well, nobody can have a big package Friday the way we can.
That's true.
Where you just set the package on the table and set it out there for everyone to consume.
Yep.
And that's what we're going to do. What? What's wrong with you guys?
Nothing.
Hey, last segment of the show, we are going to ask Spenny what he's doing for the weekend, but the very last segment of the show, so I encourage you to stick around for it. We're going to do, it's like an Ask Flannel, but it's not. It's going to be a Slander Sam. That's what it's going to be.
Slander Sam.
Sam Slander segment.
How's that different than any other day on the show, though?
Yeah, but it's gonna be like concentrated to that one segment.
Oh, I can't wait for that. Good thing I have thick skin, because back in the day, you guys would have made me crumble, but not now.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Uncle Neal Soft Feet wants to know, why does Flannel Sam hate Jokic so much? Why do you?
I don't hate Jokic. I've said it many, many times that I think that Jokic is the best player in the NBA right now. I think with the Finals MVP, his legacy, you can stack it up pretty favorably with even a Giannis Antetokounmpo. Nikola Jokic is amazing, and if he wins a couple Finals MVPs, we're going to have to start having some conversations that some people might find uncomfortable, but they're not uncomfortable. I love Jokic. I was just rooting for the Lakers in the last round, and that's all. I've never hated Jokic. He's one of my favorite players, believe it or not.
Max Mayer says Sam would consume a Data Davis package. Can you confirm?
That's a little bit too far.
It's the people's will. It's the will of the people on the WoodwardSports.com chat thread.
I mean, if we want to do sometime on Big D Energy 5 questions about Anthony Davis, I would be more than down. I could come up with probably 10 or 15.
We do not.
Yes. Zach says, please give me that segment, Neal. I assume you're talking about the Slander Sam segment. It's coming up at 12:50. So you guys have between now and 12:50 to get your act together.
Collect your thoughts.
To collect your thoughts and get it going. No, but we're doing heavy football today, obviously, on this Friday. Lots of nickel packages, as we said. I do want to touch on it, though, yesterday. Game 1 of the finals kind of went as everybody thought it would be. Now, remember yesterday I said I was I was inching towards making the Heat in Game 1 a get-right pick, but I relented. Something just didn't feel right about it. But it was wild because there the Heat were with the ball with 30 seconds left and a chance to cover the spread, which was pretty wild.
Well, that's the thing about gambling. These backdoor covers, they've burned a lot of us from time to time. So betting with that big of a line, that's risky. But if you would have bet the get right, you would have gotten another loss on your record, and we can't damage that already sparkling record. We can't risk it getting closer to 500. So good call on your part for not doing the get right.
You know how I got to be all in on it to give it to the people, because you don't get to 40-13 by accident.
No,
you don't. It actually would. I went back and kind of looked at it. It actually would be 40-9. Well, actually, it wouldn't be 39-9 if I didn't involve Michigan. Michigan represents 3 of the 13 losses. That's weird.
I mean, it's, when you're betting Michigan, you can't lose, because if they win, you're like, yep, I got my get right. If they lose, it's like, I trusted Michigan and they let me down.
All I'm doing is giving you the math on it. Now, I went against them with Hawaii last year and covered.
Yes.
And covered.
Yeah, I mean, you did cover. Congratulations. What was the spread? Like minus 58 or something like that?
No, I think it was, I want to say it was 51.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And congratulations. Where does Hawaii and you get your cookie? Do you want it in the form of oatmeal raisin, peanut butter, chocolate chip, maybe snickerdoodle?
I don't know. I don't know what the people did with the money after I got it for them. I don't know. So whatever.
I put it on Army.
That's what. And guess what you did then?
Won again. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. That's in the streets. Real quick though, I do want to touch on the Game 1 of the NBA Finals, the Jokic thing, and I got just a general question that I want to get people's answer on. Do we even understand what we're watching? And I'll give you the math behind it. And this is very basketball geeky. This is why I think Jokic still, like, he's getting his shine now nationally, but it's not, they'll still sneak in a Data Davis segment or a LeBron segment. Right? Like, Jokic was responsible for 42 points through 3 quarters and had 5 shots. 5 shots and was responsible for 42 points through 3 quarters. We've never seen anything like this. In a day and age that we are in right now, where a 30-point game on 30 shots with 12 free throws gets you an MVP. We've seen it happen. It happened this year.
Embiid's more efficient than that, but I get what you're saying.
You get where I'm at though. Yeah. Like, we hail, he had 30 points on 30 shots. Mm-hmm. He was responsible for 42 points on 5 shots as a center. Center.
That is the definition of making the most out of your time on the court. That is ridiculous efficiency. When you texted me that stat, I wasn't paying attention that closely. I didn't know that it was 42 points responsible for on 5 shots. It's one of those where you look at and it almost seems made up. It's almost like Wilt Chamberlain scoring 100, or, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but like Cy Young winning over 500 games. Not that level of mind-blowing, but that was, I mean, with how good of a passer he is, with how efficient he is as a scorer, with him just playing the perfect brand of team basketball, if anyone were to do it, it would be Nikola Jokic, and that's what makes him so great. He doesn't care who eats. He doesn't care if he's getting the points, if he has to find the open guys to shoot. He is the perfect team basketball player, and it is a beautiful brand of basketball to watch. It's extraordinary, and this is why I think the Heat have no chance, but more on that later.
WeezyD313, I do. He's the second best player since LeBron over the last 15 years. And guys, I'm telling you, because it's rooted in efficiency and things like that aren't front of center, I think his personality plays a part in it too. You know what I think Nikola Jokic wants more than anything? For this to be over and to go back to his farm on Serbia. Until it's time to come back and play again next season. I legit think that's all. He wants to win, like, obviously he wants to win. He doesn't care who gets a credit, because Jonesy 5182 says, Aaron Gordon showed up, and that was part of the game plan. Mm-hmm. Like, Jokic had 5 shots through 3 quarters. He deferred.
He did. Yeah, I mean, him, Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray played another really good playoff game, although his 3-point shooting was a little bit worse than it has been for the rest of the playoffs, but he still gave you, 26 or 27? It doesn't matter who's getting the shine. The open looks are generated mostly because of the system and because Nikola Jokic knows how to find the open man. I mean, he looks like Magic Johnson out there when he's passing the basketball.
He's incredible. And I'll give you guys like a real geeky thing to watch next game. Even when he inbounds the ball, he's great. Watch the angle that he inbounds the ball at. To like when he's finding Jamal Murray, it's never like to Jamal Murray's chest. It's always out in front. It's like he's like a great quarterback, It's always out in front, so he catches and goes.
Throws people open.
That's it.
Yeah.
He throws people open, man, as a center. And yeah, you know what? Does it alter my britches a little bit more than it probably should? It does. But it's poetic to watch him play basketball. Maybe I'm overselling it. I don't know.
I don't think you are.
But you guys can take, the 30 points on 30 shots and say it's great and everything like that. And I'll just sit over here and say that man as a center was responsible for 42 points with 5 shots.
Yeah.
It's stupid what we're seeing, and I'm glad he's finally getting the shine, even though it's still not to the level he deserves.
I mean, he's about to win Finals MVP. At least he's the overwhelming favorite to win Finals MVP.
He didn't win the MVP this year.
Yeah.
He won the previous 2 years, though.
He didn't win the MVP this year. Voters are stupid. Period. End of story.
Joel Embiid had a better regular season than you give him credit for. I'm not saying it was better than Nikola Jokic's, but he did.
Well, then by definition, I'm right. So thanks for talking. Now tell us about Guardian Alarm.
It's a new year. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Calls anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Call them at 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
Back at it, Big D Energy off and running on a big package Friday. Neal, Ruhl, Sam Flannel in for D-Mac. We got BMG, Big Mike Gentry. More from him later when we talk about the Stanley Cup Finals. We also have Spen Morax. You know what it is. He's holding it down like he always does. Got a couple of texts here. Doug says, we're talking earlier about the red ketchup bottle, the squeeze bottle that you get, how ketchup tastes better out of that bottle. It's fact. Doug also says, and it's also science, when you cut a sandwich corner to corner, you get more, and you do.
It's such a, I don't know what that phenomenon actually is, but
you get 3 bites.
It does feel like more.
Yeah, you get 3 bites.
But it's the exact same sandwich. But it's not.
But it's not. You get 3 bites. You get more bites. Therefore, you get more sandwich.
Someone in the chat, what is that? What is the actual term for that effect? I have no idea, but I know it's...
Yeah, I don't know, but he's not wrong. He's certainly not wrong about that. WoodwardSports.com chat thread, our very own Adam Baydoun. I heard Spencer bought his new car off the Neal Ruhl Get Right picks. Can you confirm?
I cannot confirm nor deny.
Yep, it's contributed.
Per IRS watch.
And we know around here, we've all taken our lumps.
Yeah, we've all taken our lumps from the IRS. For sure.
We certainly have. We are going to do one topical topic, and then we put our packages on the table for the rest of the show. We got it. Whatever sport you like, it's going to be represented today. So make sure that you stay locked in. Monty Williams. I was surprised by the amount of pushback that some out there gave about the contract. Number one, because it's not tied to the. I got a lot of questions like that on social media. Neal, what about the contract? Well, don't care. Doesn't count towards anything. Don't care.
No salary cap for coaches.
Yeah, doesn't matter to me at all. So I got to thinking. But this is a critical question that Chuck Brewer just asked. Before we even get into all that, I'm stopping what I'm doing right here. Sam, are you still in on Monty Williams after you found out that he played with Ben Wallace back in the day?
Yes, I'm still in on. I don't have Ben Wallace derangement syndrome.
But he probably thinks he's a Hall of Famer too, though, I would guess.
Well, as long as he's a good head coach for the Detroit Pistons, we can have difference of opinions when it comes to Ben Wallace. I can associate with people that I disagree with. I associate with all of you guys in this room and all of you in the chat every single day. So, it's all good.
Okay, all right. So we got that settled, number one.
Yeah.
But number two, Do you feel, because I do feel this starting to happen, where because of the contract, and this is our default, right? Like as sports fans, to whom much is given, much is expected. I don't think it's realistic for the crowd, and I saw this again yesterday on social media, got asked this. Do you expect the Pistons to compete for the playoffs next year, to be in the playoffs next year? That's not fair, man.
Yeah, I would agree. There's many factors at stake when it comes to how successful Monty Williams is and how quickly he becomes successful. I think a couple things can be true. I was a little bit more critical and happy about Dwayne Casey being removed as head coach than you were, but I think we all agree if you could replace Dwayne Casey with Monty Williams, you would take that trade 100 times out of 100. He was as good of a replacement as you could ask for. But at the same time, just with Cade Cunningham presumably healthy for the whole season, to quote Terry Foster, Goober Pile could coach this team and they would win more than 17 games. So they're going to instantly be more successful assuming that everyone is healthy. For the rest of it, it just depends. Do they stand pat? Do they run it back with Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, and Jalen Duren and see how well they work together? Do they draft at 5? Do they make a trade? Do they make a splash trade for Jaylen Brown? I'm just throwing out a name, or sign a guy like Cam Johnson, overpay for Cam Johnson because he's a restricted free agent. That all depends on how quickly Monty Williams is going to be successful and how many wins they get to next year. I just want to see improvement. I just want to see Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey see how they work together on the court, because you didn't see it much last year. See them run more pick and roll. See them run less ISO in that 0.5 offense, which I think Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey could benefit from, especially in the modern offense. You want them to move the ball, get the most open shots possible. And I think Monty Williams can provide that right away. So you're going to see improvement, but it's not as simple as they got to make the play in next year. It depends on who they add, who they draft, if they make a trade, because with this roster combined with even a number 5 pick, they're not a play-in team yet, but they're a team on the rise. They're ascending, and I think they can get better quickly. Next year, I would say anything under 30 games, and I'm a little bit alarmed. But also, you're going to get...
That's a massive jump, though, man.
But you're getting... How many do you think Cade Cunningham will give you alone just with his presence?
10.
If you say 10, then that's...
10's aggressive, too. I'd 6. Whatever. I'm not going to get caught in this. I'll split the middle, call it 8.
Okay,
All
that's
right,
fair.
there.
Well, but you also said that take Jalen Duren on your fantasy team. So you're thinking, what are you thinking? Maybe he could average 15 and 12? Do you think that's a good ceiling for him? Okay, then. So he's obviously going to take
with
a big
no
improvement.
plays called for him, too.
Absolutely.
Other than, the pick and roll. And
Absolutely.
again, I laid it down yesterday, the basketball stuff, just kind of the quick recap of that. The Phoenix Suns last year were 5th in the league running the pick and roll offense in points by the roller.
Yeah.
A la DeAndre Ayton, a la Jalen Duren will be, I would assume he'll play that role a lot this year. Now I think his minutes will gradually increase too as the season goes along, as far as Jalen Duren's minutes go. But I don't think it's fair to say he's got a $100 million contract, they better make the playoffs. And that was a real take by real people out there.
Well, that's crazy, because coaches are not miracle workers. You have to have talented players. You have to have a well-constructed roster. I mean, Monty Williams, he can implement a system. You could see massive improvement from Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren. You could see all of that. You could see a guy like Bojan Bogdanovic once again shoot 40% from 3, which would be incredible. And I think that a guy like Cade Cunningham will be able to generate him more good looks, especially given the Monty Williams system. But expecting playoffs without a move this year, that's asinine. And I'm somebody who has high expectations, but that's unfair. Like, Monty Williams isn't Jesus. He's a very good head coach and he's proven, but he's not a miracle worker. He doesn't walk on water.
And that's the one too. Like, I know I talked about, I think Jalen Duren's stock will jump the most under Monty Williams, because you guys know, like, when we did the NBA draft show last year, I sat in here and was talking about Jalen Duren has a capacity, I think, to be a big star in this league, like a big star. Now, Cade, I think that's kind of baked in to what people think about Cade Cunningham. It's just what we're seeing with Jokic, and that's what kept going through my mind last night watching Jokic, about how, and I saw this in Cade, and calling his games, and calling one of his games in college, it was something that I really noticed a lot of. I think Cade Cunningham is cut from that cloth, where he will do the basketball play. Like yesterday, you saw how fluid that was, right, with Jokic, because the basketball play was Aaron Gordon. Then the basketball play was Jamal Murray. Then the basketball play in the fourth quarter, when things got I don't want to say exciting for a minute, but when the second Miami had some breath, he just went down. Court knocked down 2 10-footers. That's a wrap. Good evening. Good night. We'll see y'all later. Drive home safe. That's how I see Cade Cunningham's game, in that there is no role that he is unwilling to do.
And I would agree with that, and that's why I'm so high on Cade, even though I think to some his stock has fallen a little bit because we just haven't seen him play, but that's obviously unfair, and it's not an injury that I think will hamper him this year. It could hamper him down the road, but we'll see on all that. That's what I want out of a guy like Cade Cunningham, somebody who just makes the right basketball play, who makes others around him better. I think, especially in the Monty Williams offense, if Jalen Duren excels as a rim runner, maybe even if they keep James Wiseman or Marvin Bagley, if they can do some rim running, if Bojan Bogdanovic can benefit from maybe the drive and kicks and everything, I think that Cade Cunningham's a guy that could average at least 8 assists this season, just because of the system he's in, a full year with Jalen Duren, him getting to throw some of those passes to Bojan Bogdanovic, who, as we saw last year, was dead-eye for the whole year. Cade Cunningham's an all-star this season. I'm calling it now.
All right, there you have it. Real quick, before we cut to the break, Jeffrey Brown. And this gets lost. And I'm glad that people are coming around on it / putting it out there. Jeffrey Brown says, you also have to take into account that they were tanking the last half of the season. There were definitely some more games we could have won in the second half of the season. And, I don't get... This is why I didn't understand the Casey Heat. Because Cade Cunningham played 9 games. Number 1 overall pick.
Yeah,
nobody's winning.
And Bojan and Stu didn't play for the second half of the year, basically.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Phil Jackson, Chuck Daly, Pat Riley. Nobody's winning. Nobody.
But aren't you happy we have Monty Williams now? Monty Williams is a better coach than Dwayne Casey. You can argue that Dwayne Casey at least has had spurts of being a good coach.
No, it all worked out, right?
It all worked out.
It all worked out, and Casey's still in the organization. So there you have it.
All right. Well, that's not something that I'm super excited about. But you know what? It's fine. I'm not going to die on that hill.
All right, there you go. Hey, it's big package time, everybody. You know what it is. Let me tell you about the Sports Marketing Agency. They spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their podcast, This is the S Word, is a series that helps address the stigma associated with seeking help. If you're struggling or someone you know is struggling, go to thesportsma.com. The Sports Marketing Agency, they're here to help.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, Sam Flannel in for DMAC, BMG, Big Mike Gentry, and of course the anchor, Spencer Raxter here in the building. Happy to have you all with us, woodwardsports.com chat thread. Subscribe to the Big D Energy podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker. What would be a great activity for you to do after you subscribe to the podcast, Spenny?
5-star.
Give it a 5-star review. That's great. That'd be a great use of your time. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Adam Coleman, football is inching closer, slowly bricking up. Well, you know what? Unleash the brick, because here we are. It is time. We're kicking it off. The Lions nickel package. Yes. 5 questions about your Detroit Lions. Let's do it.
All right. First question of the Lions nickel package. How big of a jump do you expect from Malik McNeil this season?
I mean, the weight thing that they're talking about is real. And interesting side note that I haven't heard a lot of people discuss. We talked about it on the show. Slim down, not necessarily lighter. That was the goal. Lee McNeil still said he wants to play at 325. So this was a guy
like Aaron Donald out there.
That's what I'm saying. And Look, we saw it with Aleem McNeil, right? Like, was he this big, bright shooting star? But to me, Aleem McNeil, I know that I talk about Penei Sewell, how he's the one that turned this whole mentality around. But Aleem McNeil was the first one that was here that put numbers in the columns. Remember I talked about that at the very beginning, even through the 3-13 year. I was like, when he plays, there's numbers in the column.
I remember that.
After his name in the box score.
Those were grim times.
I'm not used to that. Like, guys come in here, like guys who aren't first round picks come in here and do that. That's wild to me. I'm excited to see what it is. Now, believe it or not, you do have to learn how to play like that because it is different. But I'm hopeful it's a big jump. I mean, it'll take a minute. And Aleem McNeil's not Aaron Donald. He's not a superstar. You win with guys like Aleem McNeil, though, that do something.
Yeah, I actually expect a pretty big jump out of Aleem McNeil as well. When I heard about him losing all of that body fat, I didn't just like it. I loved it. I think that opens up a possibility for him to be more agile in the middle, to maybe be a guy who actually puts up bigger counting numbers, actually provides more interior pressure. It wouldn't shock me at all. Last year he had 1 sack, 6 tackles for loss, and 7 QB hits. It wouldn't shock me if he pumps those sack numbers up to maybe 3 and has double-digit tackles for loss and QB hits, while also providing very good interior presence in the run game. Aleem McNeil is a guy that I think could really benefit this season, could really break out. And I wonder if the front office and the coaching staff had more confidence in Aleem McNeil than we ever thought. And maybe that played into them not going after a Jalen Carter when they had a chance, not going after Kalijah Kancey or Brian Brzee when they had the chance. Maybe they thought they were better off than we thought they were all along. And maybe this is Aleem McNeil's year to show it. Wouldn't shock me at all.
I like it.
Second down.
I like it. Second question of the nickel package: which side of the ball will have more Pro Bowlers for the Detroit Lions?
I saw that question in the rundown, and like you're instantly trained to say offense because whenever you hear Pro Bowl, that's what you think is that it's instantly offense. I think that's going to rest on Kirby Joseph because this is a Kirby Joseph zone right here. Yes. Who, by the way, was rocking the free JMO shirt yesterday.
Oh, yeah, he was.
That was pretty tight.
That was dope.
And he talked about it too, because he got asked about it. And then he made a bunch of non-comments about it. It was perfect.
Kirby's the man.
Kirby is the man. Does Kirby have that in him to do it the way we've been hyping him up?
Maybe. Wouldn't shock me.
When it doesn't matter what Spenny sets the over at with he's like over under interceptions for Kirby Joseph 15. We're over.
Well,
like it doesn't. There isn't a line that you can set. It's because I think Hutch will be there, right? You told me that.
Yes,
will be there.
I think so.
It rides on Houston following it up, and it rides on Kirby Joseph.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson will be there.
He'll be there because of a body of work.
Cam Sutton.
You see what I'm saying? Like if the two young bucks take another jump this year and get there, it's stunning to me that I'm going to sit here and tell you on the defensive side of the ball, but it could be.
Wow. See, I'm going offense, and I actually am surprised that you guys are going defense because to me on the offense, there are 3 that are basically baked-in guarantees for me. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Frank Ragnow, and Penei Sewell. I think that they're going to be shoo-ins. I'd also expect Jared Goff to potentially make it, especially given that Ben Johnson is coming back, the offensive line is still intact, David Montgomery, Jamison Williams is going to play for the last 11 games, and then maybe Jonah Jackson, who has made a Pro Bowl. The Lions have had 5 offensive players on this roster that have made Pro Bowls. The defense, believe it or not, 0. I expect Aiden Hutchinson to do it. I think that he would be the most likely, but even C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he has never made a Pro Bowl.
Well, he would have made it last year if they weren't in the Super Bowl.
Well, it's listed on the website that he didn't make it. So I thought that even if he would have, if he just didn't go because of the Super Bowl, they would have listed it. But you know what? Maybe he obviously deserved it. I think he had a season worthy of it. Cam Sutton has never made a Pro Bowl. There's more unknowns. Kirby Joseph, I'm a fan of his as well, but you just don't know. With the offense, there's guys that have done it, and you know what you're going to get from them. And obviously, I don't see anyone in the linebacking core getting it. Maybe James Houston if he has another crazy sack season. I got to go offense.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread Shane Sandrock says, I think Kirby gets 6 picks at least. He gets 6 picks. He's a Pro Bowler.
C.J. Gardner-Johnson got 6 last year. And according to what I've been looking at, he wasn't. And I'm not saying that he didn't deserve it. I'm not saying that Kirby wouldn't deserve it, but it doesn't guarantee you anything.
He gets 6 picks, they're going to win the division.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
He'll go to the Pro Bowl.
Okay, you know what? That parlay I could see. Yes.
I'm glad I could change your mind. Steve Wild says Aleem McNeil had the highest PFF grade ever by a defensive tackle against the Giants last year. And Steve, I'll allow it because it fits my narrative.
He had 13 pressures in that game.
I'll go to it, and I'll accept a PFF comparison because it fits my narrative.
That's fair.
When it does not fit my narrative, I dismiss PFF and say, "Oh, I hear that all the time from PFF."
Yeah.
PFF has become the ultimate football political talking point, man, where you use it when it suits you, you dismiss it when it doesn't. It's wild to me.
Well, I was talking about, and I was Spenny, you were talking about it, for that game against the Giants last year, he was Aaron Donald, he was Chris Jones, he was Quinnen Williams.
He was as good as anybody in the league.
100%.
Yeah.
So not shocking at all that PFF rated him as the highest defensive tackle for that game.
The biggest down in the game, third down.
Third down. Third question of the nickel package. Who will finish second on this team in receiving yards?
Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
The longer this goes on, and look, I know it's practice clips, but guys, I'm telling you, I've got a pretty good eye for this kind of stuff. He looks different than everybody else out there. You know what I'm saying? Like his release from the line of scrimmage, his top end speed, his acceleration. Guys, I'm telling you, man, I know you're upset about the gambling stuff and all that kind of, and what tweets he likes and things like that, or gram posts he likes. I know that upsets you and everything like that. When you open the garage, this man's a Ferrari. He is an absolute Ferrari, man. I'm telling, he is going to be big.
You know what, Neal? You are absolutely right. I agree. And part of it, for me, goes into the fact that they don't have another guy that I would be confident being a true number 2. I think that Josh Reynolds can do it in spurts. Khalif Raymond was their second leading receiver last year, and he's back. They don't really have a number 1 tight end, although we hope it's Sam Laporta, but I don't expect huge production from him next year. Jameson Williams, I agree with you. I am a little bit concerned with his usage and the fact that he's going to miss a ton of games, first year with injury and this year with gambling, but I expect him to come back and be the player that we all hoped he would.
And guess what?
Yes.
None of us will care.
Absolutely
the people that
absolutely
are shaking their fist in the air, J-Mo! They'll be like, yeah, J-Mo!
But he has to do it first. And I think that that's fair, and I think we would all agree with that, but I expect him to. I'm one of those people that Jameson Williams, I've said that. I've never seen anyone quite like him in college. I like to watch Alabama games. I've always liked to watch Alabama games, so I saw a lot of Jameson Williams. He's a complete receiver, but he's also the fastest man on every single field he basically walks onto. And he's going to be that in the NFL. How could he not
in the
be
streets,
productive?
they would call him a Rari.
Yeah.
Yes.
True.
Because that man is all Ferrari. I cannot wait.
Justin Slanik would say he's blazing.
He's blazing.
Yeah.
It is, though. Even last year, he is the first. See, Calvin was different because it wasn't speed.
It didn't. Calvin had speed, but it didn't look like, because just the long strides, the fluidity of it. Yeah. J-Mo's got the explosiveness.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm saying, even last year, when he got the ball those 3 times and scored a touchdown all 3. I know it's not the narrative that you've been given. The narrative is, oh, you had 1 catch. You're not going to miss 1 catch.
Yeah.
Or you can look at it from the perspective I do, say he touched the ball 3 times in the NFL and scored a touchdown all 3 times he touched it. 1 got called back on a penalty. The other one, they said he was down at the half-yard line when he wasn't, and they didn't care. They just ran it in anyway. He is exciting. He's the most exciting Lion I've seen since Barry. Just in the anticipation of him getting the ball. He is Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
I feel about him, I watch Tyreek Hill because I'm excited to see him play. I'm not asking him to raise my kids or anything like that. I'm not asking him to do anything in the community.
Yeah.
He's exciting to watch play.
Asking him to play football. And he's really good at that.
That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
And then at 4:15, he's done playing football, and I'll see you next Sunday. You know? That. He's exciting, man. I can't wait for him.
Oh, yeah, and when we're talking about receiving yards, he's one of those guys that you could see him have a stat line in a couple of games of even 2 catches for 80 yards, and that will go a long way with pumping up his receiving yards numbers.
And that was where I was driving at. That will be an off game for him. 2 catches for 80 yards with no touchdowns.
I mean, if that's an off game for him, we're talking about him being one of the best receivers in the NFL going forward, which I believe he has the talent to. I really do.
Detroit Supremacy says DeAndre Hopkins will be second.
I'd like to hear that.
So there's that one as well.
That was a sneaky answer I was thinking about giving, but I held off. So.
I understand he's beginning his tour, his recruiting tour, or whatever. So Wyatt Bear says Ford versus Ferrari was based on Jamison Williams. So,
that's true.
Yeah. People Pleaser says Calvin ran a 4.3, bulldozed safeties, and jumped over 3 defensive. No, he explosive speed. You just didn't.
Yeah, Calvin was fast. He was really, really fast.
Yeah.
But it didn't look like he was running that fast, but he was.
Justin Ford says you can't meet ride J-Mo until he plays. Well, he did play. He got the ball 3 times in an NFL game and scored a touchdown all 3 times. Go look it up. Go watch the plays. So yeah, what other guy has that kind of impact?
And was underthrown on one more.
Yeah. So yeah, I can meet ride him because he has played 3 games. It's Big Package Friday.
Big Package.
It's built on meat riding.
Absolutely.
4th down.
So next question of the Lions nickel package. Coming out of camp yesterday, Penei Sewell is taking a more vocal leadership role as requested by his teammates. Obviously, right? It's got to happen.
You guys, I want a recording of it. Anytime Penei Sewell becomes a conversation and you just push the button to get my statement on it.
Yeah.
This guy will be the one. He will be the first one that gets the Lombardi Trophy when they win it. Ooh. Think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
He's the dude already. They're looking to look at this. And I don't even know that they're looking to. It's just understood.
His teammates told him that he needs to speak up more.
And he probably doesn't because he's like, oh well, I'm a young, I'm a young player.
Yeah.
And it's not my time. It's not my place. Guys, you know my feelings on this man. This is the guy that turned it all over. It was Brad Holmes, but on the field, Penei Sewell. Mark my words. Much like I said, Nikola Jokic is the best player in the game 4 years ago when I was mocked and scorned, notably by the Data Davis people. Mark my words. 5 years from now, this man will be a cornerstone, not only in the National Football League, but in Detroit Lions lore.
You know what? And I will agree with that in 5 years. And Penei Sewell, he's arguably the best player on the team, pound for pound, position for position. He's the type of guy that I could see being an all-pro in the next couple of years. There's only a handful of guys on the Lions that have that kind of impact, and he plays the position on the unit that is the best Detroit Lions unit, and he's the guy that made it elite. So yeah, this isn't shocking at all. Penei Sewell is elite, and he is one of the best players on the team, arguably the best player on the team. So yeah, I love it.
Mr. K. Wells 4 says Neal gets bricked up for Sewell.
Yes, you do.
I'm talking full-on masonry, full-on, like if you're going to I could build a deck with it.
That's fair. That's fair. Real quick, last question of the Lions nickel package. Who finishes with more passing yards next year, Jared Goff or Geno Smith?
It's got to be Goff. It's got to be. Please, for my sake. Hey, Goff, look, if you finish with less passing yards than Geno Smith, assuming everybody plays the same amount of games, then please win a playoff game. So then that way people can take the trick, but I'll come back with the Bauer and slam it on the table and say, hey, I made the point.
Oh, yeah.
Please. It's Goff, right?
But with this version of Geno, there's no real shame in losing out to him on passing yards, which is a stat that is selectively more important than other times. I actually think it's going to be Geno Smith who has more. And to me, it's more about working backwards. I think Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf are 2 guys you can pretty much pencil in for 1,000 yards. You're going to get 23 to 2,500 yards between the 2 of them. And they just added Jackson Smith and Jigba, who could end up being the best wide receiver from this entire class. The Lions, at least in the first 6 games, they're Amon-Ra St. Brown and a bunch of dudes. No disrespect to Josh Reynolds and old Marvin Jones or Khalif Raymond or even rookie Sam Laporta. I just think with all the weapons that the Seattle Seahawks have, even with Kenneth Walker catching passes out of the backfield, I would go with Geno Smith.
Real quick, Shane Sandrock, simping for Sewell. Yes, I could redo the roads in my whole subdivision into brick.
Yes, you could. I know.
Where do you get your haircut, Sam?
I get my haircut at Lady Jane's, of course, and you know how I always say that all the stylists there have me looking real good 100% of the time. I don't care what you guys have to say. How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Big Package Friday. We take all the packages, the big we just put them on the table and for everyone to consume. Neal, Ruhl, Sam Flannel in for DMAC, BMG, Big Mike Gentry, Spencer Raxter here in the building as well. Hey, we're falling behind the pace already. That's what happens. When you got to negotiate these big packages, it takes time. So let's jump into it. Football continues. We're going back to back to back. NFL, college on deck. Let's hit the league.
All right, first question of the NFL Nickel Package Free Agent Edition.
Okay.
If he retired today, is DeAndre Hopkins already a Hall of Famer?
Nah. Yeah, they're going to give it to him.
No, they're not going to give it to him. He's
him.
Earned it. He's absolutely earned it. 3-time first-team All-Pro, 11,000 receiving yards in 10 seasons, 6,000-yard seasons, and 5 Pro Bowls.
Yeah,
he's been dominant. Absolutely, Hall of Famer.
You know what the most impressionable stat of all that? 3 All-Pro first-teamers.
Yeah. To be a first-team All-Pro in this receiving era, that's unbelievable.
And you do it 3 times. I don't even
Andy
give
was
a
2 second-team All-Pro.
Yeah, like that's a wrap.
Yeah.
It is. Even like, I think DeAndre Hopkins is overvalued at this point, but you can't be a hater. Like if you're gonna sit there and say no to that, 3 first-team All-Pros, 2 second. That's
over
a wrap.
11,000 yards receiving
in 10 seasons. Yeah. That means you've been dominant. And part of being a Hall of Famer is being a dominant player for a long period of time.
Top 5 in Offensive Player of the Year voting twice.
5-star.
5-star.
Yeah.
All right, next question. The Lions NFL Nickel Package Free Agent Edition. Has Jadeveon Clowney had a successful NFL career?
Yeah, he's still playing, right?
Yeah.
Still gets a bag every year.
Still gets those checks.
Still gets those checks, man. Yeah, dude. This is something I think we struggle with as sports fans. Like when you're the number 1 overall pick. Sean Bradley's one in the NBA. That people are like, oh, dude was a bust. That dude played 13 years in the league. You could say what you want.
He made his money.
Made his money, man. Played 13 years in the league. Jadeveon Clowney, dude, is always sought after. How do we know he's sought after? Look at the money he's made.
Yeah.
I got to pull up the figure of the money that he's made. I'll do that while Flannel gives his 2 cents on it as well. But it's just, we got to get past this thing of the number 1 overall pick. You have double-digit years in the NFL. You are not a bust, period.
Absolutely. And I think that even comparing him to Sean Bradley sells Jadeveon Clowney well short, because one thing about me that people don't know, I am a Jadeveon Clowney simp. I know that he hasn't lived up quite to being the number 1 overall pick, but ever since he made that big hit on Vincent Smith at Michigan, or during that season where he was phenomenal, I've always followed his career. Yeah, the Outback Bowl. I've always followed his career.
He's made $80.5 million.
Yeah.
He's made $80.5 million. He's made 3 Pro Bowls, which is not nothing. He's had 3 seasons of at least 9 sacks. I know people always say, oh, he's never had a double-digit one, 3 of at least 9. He's had 4 seasons of double-digit tackles for loss, including 2 with 16 and 1 with a whopping 21. And he's had 5 seasons with at least 13 quarterback hits, including 2 with 21. Jadeveon Clowney, he's not a Hall of Famer. He wasn't a franchise changer, but for a short period of time, he was one of the better defensive ends, edge rushers in the NFL, and he's still playing. He could still have a couple of more at least decent seasons.
He's going to get signed again for sure.
100%.
No doubt about it. DNC ENT. So if Zion plays 6 more years at this pace, he isn't a bust. Get the hell out of here. No, Jadeveon Clowney.
He's a bust.
He plays all the time.
Yeah, and it wasn't is he a bust? Has he had a good career, a successful career?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You make $80 million in the NFL, 3 Pro Bowls.
Yeah.
You're a good player. I don't care where you're drafted.
Has he lived up to the expectations he had? No.
Were the expectations realistic in hindsight?
No.
Though?
But he's had a successful career.
I agree 1,000%. Next down.
Next question of the NFL nickel package. Is Frank Clark a future Hall of Famer?
Yeah, because there's lore to it. In the NFL Hall of Fame, I think you get away with this more than other Hall of Fames. There's lore to you, right? Is Joe Namath the Hall of Famer?
I don't think he should be, but he's had 2 seasons where he had more touchdowns than interceptions.
He was a pretty mid quarterback his whole career. Look
Yeah.
at the career numbers. He's
Yes.
the definition of mid.
Yes.
But why is he in?
Because of that one Super Bowl and
One
that
Super
guarantee
Bowl
with him
where
walking up the field.
Where in retrospect, it was the greatest marketing thing ever. Hell yeah, you say that. Yeah, we're going to beat the Colts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're 17-point underdogs. I don't care. Hell yeah, we're going to beat them. Because if they lose, no one ever talks about it again. But if they win, oh my God, he called it. Like, that's unbelievable. So yeah, Frank Clark, the mystique. And I know that you'll hammer down on the numbers and things like that. What's he known for?
He is known for being 3rd all-time amongst all NFL players ever in postseason sacks.
And how many rings does he have?
2 with the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'll just focus on that.
Period, end of story.
In his entire postseason career, he has 13.5 sacks, which is 2.5 behind the all-time leader at 16. In the 2 Super Bowl runs, in 6 games, 7.5 sacks, which presumably you could say maybe they don't win those Super Bowls without Frank Clark, on top of being a 3-time Pro Bowler, on top of having 2 seasons where he's had 10 or more sacks. It's about the postseason success, and I could definitely see him ending his career with the all-time leader in postseason sacks. Are you really going to keep a guy who's been to 3 Pro Bowls and is the all-time leader in postseason sacks out of the Hall of Fame?
No.
Absolutely not. Frank Clark is absolutely a Hall of Famer.
So, Catspot 9000. No, Frank Clark is not a Hall of Famer. Say that last sentence again.
Oh, my God. Bro, in 12 postseason games, he has 13.5 sacks. That's not just because of compiling. Stop it. God.
Steve Wild says, well, Sam Bradford must have been good, too, since he made $100+ million.
No, Sam Bradford had the most successful NFL career of all time. I'd take that career in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It was a little bit different scenario back then, my friend. A little bit different scenario.
All right, next question of the NFL Nickel Package Free Agent Edition. Who is the more appealing potential free agent, not for the Lions, but just for a team, Marcus Peters or Yannick Ngakoue?
I would say Ngakoue, because you know exactly what he brings to the table. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get a Jadeveon Clowney season.
More or less, yeah.
You're going to get 9-ish sacks right around, and you can set your watch to it.
Absolutely.
That's how it's going to be. Free agency, to me, I think that's the biggest component of free agency. When I sign you, do I know exactly what you're going to do?
Yeah.
As much as you can. Ngakoue, it's proven.
Absolutely.
It's like the sun coming up in the east and setting in the west. Is he going to get 20 sacks? No. But he's going to get 9. And you know it. Set your watch to it.
It's so funny that you mentioned that he's just kind of the definition of consistency, and he's a hammer, because he has had 6 seasons in which he's had at least 8 sacks, 2 of them double digits.
And
That's
I was
pretty
waiting for this. Steve Wild says Ngakoue is so overrated.
Oh.
How can you defeat what I just said, Steve?
Yeah.
No,
You can't.
Nobody is saying that he's a superstar. We're saying that he is a valuable edge rusher on a team.
And in free agency, stay with me here, Steve. And in free agency, when you're spending valuable cap dollars at a higher rate, because free agency is more expensive, you have to hit. You have to hit. And Ngakoue's a hit.
Yeah, you guys love James Houston, right? But you hate Yannick Ngakoue. Weird.
Yeah, and I have one stat about Yannick Ngakoue that is legitimately mind-blowing. In 2018, and I know that's a long time ago, but he's still a good player. In 2018, he had 33 quarterback hits. That's elite.
That is pretty
And
nuts.
then in the last season he played, 9.5 sacks, 16 quarterback hits. You know what you're going to get. I know Brandon Katz says he's horrible against the run. He's not as a great run defender, but you need somebody who can get after the quarterback.
Spending, and his price will reflect that.
Absolutely.
Like, it's all a nice little math equation here.
Yes.
When you're spending free agency dollars, you have to know what you're going to get. And Yannick Ngakoue, you know exactly what you're going. You can fast forward to the end of the season, look at his stats, and there you'll see 9-ish sacks.
6 seasons of 8 or more sacks. That's remarkable consistency. You're never elite, but you're always consistent.
Yep. Absolutely. No, I'm with it.
All right, last question of the NFL Nickel Package Free Agent Edition. Who's the more appealing potential free agent? 34-year-old Justin Houston or 30-year-old Leonard Floyd?
They're 1A. They're 1 and 1A right there. That's a great comp. I would probably go Leonard Floyd just strictly on the age. Is that a thin answer? Yeah, it's a thin answer. That's a great pull, Spenny. I don't have an opinion on that. If all things are equal, give me the dude 4 years younger.
I actually think that that's a good way of looking at it. Obviously, Justin Houston, he has reached heights in his career that Leonard Floyd will never reach. Justin Houston is arguably a Hall of Famer, and he had a season with 22 sacks. That happened, but he's also 34, and he's had a couple of injuries, even though last season he had 9.5. Leonard Floyd, I would agree with that because he is younger, and in the past 3 seasons, he's given you 10.5, 9.5, and 9 sacks, respectively. He's coming on, and he still has some prime years left. I like Leonard Floyd a lot. I would go with Leonard Floyd just because I think he has more years left. I think he has more good years left. But Justin Houston, he did show that he can play next year. I just wonder if it's going to be for just 1 more year.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's a great question, though, Spenmo. When we come back, it is time for the college football nickel package. I got a good one cooked up, too. What's the probability Michigan fans will be upset?
99.
But if they're honest with themselves, what's the probability they'll be upset?
Is that a rhetorical question?
How would you like to see famous athletes like, I don't know, Jim Harbaugh? That'll make Michigan fans happy.
I would.
Braylon Edwards. That'll make Michigan fans happy.
Yeah, it would.
Or Darren McCarty play golf with average Joes. Thanks to Randy Wise Automotive and Woodward Sports, you'll be able to do just that. It's the Randy Wise Automotive Team Celebrity Golf Tour. Make the wise choice. Pay attention to Woodward Sports. Coming soon, we will have more information on the Randy Wise Automotive Team Celebrity Golf Tour.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Back at it here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, Sam Flannel in for DMAC. It's a big package Friday. So, Spencer Raxter is here. BMG, Big Mike Gentry, here as well. He's mixing and scratching right now. Happy to have you guys with us. We're right in the throes of the football nickel packages here on a Big Package Friday. Such big packages that we put on the table for everyone to consume. My favorite, this is my wheelhouse. I love me some college football here, and it is time for the college football nickel package. I'll run the show here. I'm curious to get Spenmo's take on it as well. College football first down. Athletic directors have said since the playoff expands to 12 teams in 2024, they need to, quote, rearrange future non-conference games. What do you think that means, Sam Flannel? Because when we're done, I'll tell you guys what it really means.
That probably means that down the road that we might be looking at just teams playing each other in each other's conferences. Because at the end of the year, you need some room on the schedule for more college football playoff games. And at that point, it doesn't matter as much. You can get in with like a loss or two, and it doesn't matter if you play people outside your conference because you're going to play them in the college football playoff. That is my takeaway, but it'll start with maybe less non-conference games, maybe 2 or 3.
All right, what do you got on that one, Spenmo?
I think it means that strength of schedule is going to be more important, and teams are going to have to play other Power 5 teams in the non-conference.
See, because here's my take on it. Michigan, as their non-conference, which more on that later, coming up in this year. I'll use Michigan as an example. Next year in 2024, they're scheduled to play Texas at the Big House.
Mm-hmm.
That game will never be played.
You got your
played.
tinfoil hat on, Neal. How could I have guessed?
Both sides, and it'll be because of both sides. Because I think it's going to have the reverse effect. Because all 12 teams are getting in.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're Michigan, why would you play that game? Why?
You could lose it, and it wouldn't hurt your standing.
Or you could get a win, and it would help you more.
It would give you a higher seed, maybe a bye. And that, I mean, yeah, in that case,
You
there
see
could
what
be
I'm
some
saying?
buys. Yeah,
like
no.
when they say rework non-conference games, they mean hold on, everybody. We got to take some losses off the schedule if we can. Because if you're taking 12 teams, and like Michigan, we'll talk about a little bit later. I'll make fun of it, but at the same time, I respect it. You know, and we will get to that. That's what that means, I think. When you say we have to re-examine our non-conference 2024 schedule, the Michigan-Texas game, I think, will be one. Keep an eye on. I doubt that thing will ever be played. I
mean, we'll see. And I'm willing to be swayed on that point because I didn't feel too strongly one way or the other. I could see it going any single way that all three of us have mentioned.
All right, second down. The SEC has said they'll stay at 8 conference games next year. They're going to abandon the division scenario, by the way. They're cutting out the divisions. They're just going to do 8 conference games next year, and that's when Texas and Oklahoma join the SEC, because, by the way, they're going to be in the SEC too. It's undetermined after that. What should they do with 16 teams?
With 16 teams? Shoot, I mean, I guess they should just play whoever. I mean, just kind of. I would probably do 2 divisions, but at the end of the day, just make a schedule. I would just say have one big conference because that's what they're all going to be at some point anyway.
Spenmo, what would you do? 16 teams. What would you do?
I like how the Big Ten set up, like with the 2 divisions, and if they could do 8 and 8, I think that would be better. But like make it more even than the Big Ten East and the Big Ten West. I think that would be the smart move.
It's interesting because I wonder how they're going to determine that, like the scheduling and things like that. And I know that, you know, the SEC, they've taken a lot of heat because they play, they only play 8 conference games, and there are a lot of SEC coaches that want to leave it at the 8 conference games. And I know that everyone's going to talk about, you know, scheduling and the SEC when they have that kind of that open week in November where they all kind of take, you know, they kind of do like a Michigan week 1 through 4 style game.
I mean, they play a cupcake, and that is where you see all of the backup Alabama running backs who hadn't got a lot of playing time. The backup to Derrick Henry, that's when he all of a sudden gets the guys like Trey Sanders. That's when he plays in those cupcake games at the end of the year.
Jack Harrington says it's called Cupcake Week, Neal. And thank you, Jack, for giving me what I needed, because let's go to third down. Since I knew you guys were going to start in on the SEC scheduling, has the time come for Michigan fans to just sit out any scheduling talk? Like, whenever we talk about scheduling, is it time for them to just kind of sit that one out?
This year, yeah.
And last year?
Last year, yes. I would think it's situational. I mean, obviously in 2021, they played a Washington team, which turned out to be not as good as anybody thought that they were.
That lost to a
absolutely
a non-Division I team.
They ended up being horrible. I think they were 4-8 that year.
They lost to Montana State at home.
They did, right before they came to the Big House and got smacked, which I was at that game, Flex, but anywho, that's neither here nor there. I think in seasons where Michigan obviously has a weaker schedule, which I admit they do this year, they should sit out, because it's easy to come back at Michigan fans with, well, look at your schedule. And I don't want to have to keep playing that game over and over and over. The best way that Michigan can shut everybody up for good, or at least for the next couple of years, is prove that you don't need to play tougher opponents early on in the season. Win those games, win all of your games on your regular season schedule, win the Big Ten championship, and win the national championship, and nobody can say anything. The reason people can say anything and can question that they didn't have any tune-up games in 2022 was because they lost to TCU in the college football playoff. There's many explanations you can give, but one of them is they were never really tested. And what can I say to that? They lost. So at this point, yeah, I would sit it out at least for this year.
What do you think, Spenmo?
I mean, it's how it works in college football. Is every team plays cupcakes at the beginning of the year. Once in a while, you'll have the matchup like the Alabama-Oregon or something like that in one of their first couple games.
Well, it's funny because like Alabama's schedule last year, they played at Texas, they were at Tennessee, weren't they at LSU too?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, that's a gauntlet.
That is a gauntlet. Like Georgia played Oregon.
And it doesn't help
year.
Michigan's cause that the rest of the Big Ten, aside from Ohio State, sucks. So like even their in-conference schedule is like, you're playing Purdue and Michigan State and Nebraska
Rutgers and Maryland.
Rutgers. Yeah, so like I mean I'm not mad at it. I would schedule cupcakes at the beginning of my year anyways. You have to win every game to get to the playoffs. So
and that's like I'm getting slammed here. I respect them for doing it.
Yeah.
You should do it. Why? What reward do you get for playing a tough schedule?
Well,
you don't get any extra points or anything.
Alabama was dangerously close to losing at Texas. If Quinn Ewers doesn't get hurt, they probably do lose to Texas, and that would have given them, I mean, I know things don't always play out evenly, but that would have given them 3 losses. No chance whatsoever at the college football playoff.
What are you doing playing that game?
I mean, I don't think Nick Saban's ever doing that again. I think he got the daylight scared out of him. They were outplayed for most of that game. They could have easily lost.
And somebody, the typical Michigan fan here at Go Blue 7 says, dude, have you seen Georgia's schedule? It's worse than Michigan's. They do play a Power 5 team. Their rivals, Georgia Tech. I know they've fallen on some hard times.
Georgia
they
Tech,
are a Power 5 team.
They are. And, yeah, Georgia Tech, they have been weaker lately, but they've had some good runs. I think they had a national championship in 1990. I know that's not
Bobby Ross
there. Yeah, I mean, that did happen. They've had some good times, too.
Yeah. So, again, if I was Michigan, I wouldn't do it either because there's no penalty for it because they're going to put you in no matter what.
Absolutely.
And they'll get you 2 teams in.
Well, and to respond to Chuck Brewer really quick, when I'm talking about tune-up games, when I'm talking about cupcake games, I'm talking about non-conference. He mentioned Ohio State. Obviously, that was a tough game, and Michigan passed that test with flying colors. But you know what test they didn't pass? The college football playoff. I can't say anything about it. It hurts me to this day. I just have to lower my head and cower. I do.
Here's a pretty good one, though, since we have talked about Alabama a little bit. This one really caught my eye and really made me laugh because this is where we are right now. Nick Saban's a headliner in a group of athletic directors, lobbyists, etc., that will visit Washington next week, our nation's capital, to ask for federal assistance in regulating name, image, and likeness. Saban's quote was, if it's going to be the same for everyone, I think that would be better than what we have now. Some schools in some states are investing a lot more money than others. To me, that really sounds like, like labor cost and employee labor situations, doesn't it? Or am I crazy with that?
Well, there's no perfect situation, and nobody is going to be happy with anything. I'm not surprised that Nick Saban was one of the people along with lobbyists begging or asking Washington with all that. Nick Saban wants to stay on top. He wants to have all of the advantages. He is the best college football coach of all time, but with NIL and everything in teams like Texas A&M, although it didn't work out, obviously, they're able to throw the bag at basically anyone they want, including people that would have otherwise committed to Alabama. I just think he wants to run college football for as long as he continues to coach. I mean, you see it in college basketball with some of the guys like Jay Wright and Mike Krzyzewski. As soon as Roy Williams, as soon as the NIL really kicked in, they were like, I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. I'm not dealing with this anymore.
Nick Saban is at that crossroads because he's obviously accomplished more than any college football coach in history. And he's in his 70s. Maybe this is, if I can't get this done, I'm out. It wouldn't shock me at all.
Spenmo, what's your take on that?
He's
is that
an old
funny?
man scared of change. It's what it is. I love Nick Saban. Shout out Nick Saban. Love you, man. Spartan dog. But
that's right.
It's he's not getting all of the people that he used to. Like,
That's
he's
what
not
it is.
getting these 5-star defensive tackles because they can go to Florida State or Texas A&M or Texas and get paid $3 million for a season. Like, it is what it
I think
is.
that's what it is. I don't think it's necessarily like old man on the porch.
No.
I think it's holy shit, I'm losing some control here.
He's getting out-pocketed.
And dude,
out-packaged.
Yeah, well, it's Big Package Friday
NIL
happens to everyone.
package,
It gets everybody. No, they're going to Washington with lobbyists.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're going to pay. That's what's blowing my mind about it. They're going to pay for change about the way players get paid.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that finds that entertaining in the least? Like, that is just, it's crazy to me. Mike G says it as well. Saban doesn't like name, image, and likeness. He's the old guy on the porch. I just think he wants a salary cap because when all things are equal, the prestige of Alabama wins out.
Oh, 100%. And Brandon Katz kind of mentioned that Alabama still gets strong recruiting classes. Obviously they do, but
it's easier the other way.
It's easier the other way. And with Nick Saban, I'm not even talking about reality. I'm talking about how he feels, how he wants to be in control, how he doesn't want Texas A&M being able to poach guys from Alabama just by offering them bigger bags. Texas, how Spenny mentioned.
Michael Daniel says we need a lefty at first base, Neal. I know we do, Michael. I know we do.
Christ.
Real quick, this will be a quick one. I'll just take this one. Number 5, fifth down. The bowl schedule's been announced. There'll be 43 bowl games this year. Lots of news wrapped up around in this, but here's the one big piece of news. The MF in Hawaii Bowl will not be on Christmas Eve this year. It's on December 23rd. There's 7 bowl games on Saturday, December 23rd. That's blasphemous. You guys know I need the Hawaii Bowl on Christmas Eve. I need to decompress while I put together toys and have a couple bourbons. After the family leaves and everything like that, that's when the night gets started for everybody. That's when you're starting to put together a bike or a kitchen or whatever it is. That's when the work really starts. I need the Hawaii Bowl. I don't care that there's an NFL game on. I will choose the Hawaii Bowl 10 times out of 10. The shots of the beach, the thermometer. There's always that one guy in the stands that has the sign, temperature 83, wind chill 82. I need that on Christmas Eve.
Neal, me personally, it doesn't bother me at all. But as your friend, Neal, which we are, I see how much it's breaking you up. So I am sad for you. For that reason
Thank
alone,
you.
I wish that they had the Hawaii Bowl on Christmas Eve because I'm a selfless man.
Thank you. The R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl and the Hawaii Bowl. Those are my 2 jams.
That's fair.
And the Bahamas Bowl because it's on at 11 a.m. And I give the people a lunchtime special, which we won this year.
Yes, we did.
It wasn't even a get right. It was a double your lunch. It was lunch on Neal special. Miami of Ohio.
Yep.
Didn't look good at the beginning when we went off air. But in the end, you got your lunch on. I do a lot for you guys.
Yeah.
Man.
Really do.
I work hard. All right. Big Package Friday will roll on when we come back. Which way are we going with this one? We'll do the NBA, right? Since the final started. We'll do the NBA. We have the D-Max 5 for fighting. We have the Tigers starting rotation as well. We got it all. We're coming down the stretch on a Friday. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter, BMG, Big Mike Gentry here in the building. We still got basketball, baseball, hockey, slander. Sam, that segment makes its debut at 12:50. Yeah. I know you're lying. I know you guys are lined up. I expect a full viewership spike. Tell your friends. They don't have to watch now, but they do need to watch at 12:50. We will take your Sam Flannel slander and we will read it on the air. So, with all that being said, Flannel, let's go around the league.
Absolutely. The NBA fast break. Question 1. Was Spenny right all along? Do the Nuggets sweep the Heat?
It's always aggressive to call for a sweep. I know Spencer Raxter called a shot against the Lakers. You were a disbeliever. And by the math, it suggests that you should have been right, that the Lakers should not have been swept by the Nuggets. Because by definition, Anthony Davis is half man, half a series. So you should have gotten, at least a win in one of the half of the games that he actually plays well in. So, it was a great call by Spenny. I know Spenny, and he ran it back instantly, right away. He's calling for the sweep. I think it's aggressive, and here's another reason why. The finals, because of the setup, right, where Miami gets the middle 3 home games. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. It's aggressive to call for a sweep. I'm not calling for it. At some point, Denver's got to not play a good game, right? Like, at some point. And usually that happens on the road more than it does at home.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I am calling for a sweep. In Game 1, even though the Nuggets won rather comfortably, combined, Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray shot 4 of 18 from 3. And those guys have been red hot from behind the arc all playoffs. I don't think that's going to happen again. And what have I always said about the Miami Heat in this playoffs? A lot of whether you win or lose is determined on shooting luck. This season, Max Strus, Caleb Martin, and Duncan Robinson were all fairly mid from three-point range, even though Duncan Robinson has a history of being a great three-point shooter. In the rest of the playoffs, they were pretty good. Last night, they were a combined 2 of 16. I think their shooting luck has run out. I think the Nuggets win this series handily. It wouldn't shock me if they won all of them by double digits. And another reason, you know what you're going to get from Nikola Jokic. He's become that guy that the only one that can stop him is if he's not hitting some shots. But he will find other ways to impact the game, obviously, too, with passing the ball. So, Nuggets, I think they're more of a juggernaut than people even give them credit for. I think they sweep the Heat.
Yeah,
you called it.
The Heat haven't beat the Nuggets at home since like 2018 or 2016.
What are they? They've lost 9 of 10 or the last 9 in a row. Some egregious number. It's a bad matchup.
Yeah, and this is the first game one that the Heat have lost in this playoffs. So yeah, give me Nuggets in 4.
Yeah, it's for me too. Like that betting number in the series. Obviously, we figured that the Denver Nuggets were going to win. I just couldn't, in good faith, put that out there to the people to say, hey, lay 425 or whatever that number was. Like, at that point, man, you're getting 20 cents on the dollar. Just take your money and put it in a bank CD at that. You can get 6% on it without a chance of losing it.
I would never encourage that for the record, but I still think they are going to sweep, although I wouldn't bet any money on it.
Gentlemen sweep, 4-1.
Okay, I might actually bet quite a bit of money on that. But you know what? I'm not actually going to do it. Anywho, question 2. Anywho, I love that word. That's another one of my old man phrases. Does Jamal Murray enter future Hall of Fame discussion if he has a great finals performance and the Nuggets win?
I mean, if the numbers keep up, right? If he just does what he's been doing, guys, lore comes into play when you talk about Hall of Fames. We love narratives. We love stories. It's turned like that. Our society's turned like that. He's got the stage now. And he had a coming out party last night nationally. For those that didn't know about Jamal Murray. Hell, there's people out there that didn't know about Nikola Jokic. So, yes, you can start to pivot towards that because of the numbers. The numbers, you can't ignore the numbers. Now, those that know, that have followed the Nuggets, you guys know I've been a Jokic fan for a very long time. He has taken that step forward finally. And it also helps, too, because once a series, which, once every 4 games, which much like the regular season, once every 4 games, you're going to get a 3 for 16 night from Jamal Murray. Now, the Nuggets were able to win in every series so far when he's had that night. The Lakers had their chance, and they let it slip through their fingers.
He was bad for 3 quarters and then turned it on in the fourth. He didn't have like a 3 of 16 game for a full game because he wouldn't have been able to average 50, 40, and 90, or average 30 per game on 50, 40, 90 shooting splits with that bad of a game. But I know what you were saying. He was bad, then he turned it on.
Yeah.
I would argue at this point, no, and here's why. Jamal Murray, I don't know if he's necessarily taken that step or he just elevates his game in the playoffs always. Jamal Murray has never made an all-star team. He has only had 2 seasons in which he's averaged 20 points per game.
He'll be on the all-star team next year.
He might.
Guaranteed.
But what if he averages like 19 and a half?
Doesn't
or
matter.
something like
He'll
that?
be there.
I don't know. But Jamal Murray, to his credit, he is one of the biggest playoff overperformers that I can think of in recent memory. I mean, he averages 25, 5, and 6 on 48% field goal and 40% from 3 in his playoff career. In his regular season career, for his career, he averages 17 a game. So I don't think he enters Hall of Fame discussion yet, unless if he does something crazy like win a Finals MVP, which he won't, because that'll go to Jokic, deservingly so. But it wouldn't shock me if he has a great... He could catapult it. We could maybe start having fringe discussions.
You know what you have to remember about these guys, like this generation right now?
Yeah.
They all got in the league when they were 18 and 19.
Yeah.
He's 25.
He could rack up some All-Star game appearances.
And he will, and he'll rack up numbers. Barring injury, he will just rack up incredible numbers.
And when he does, we can have those discussions. I just think he has to put together some better regular season, some All-Star appearances before you can have those discussions.
Fair.
That is.
You're on the Murray bandwagon, right, Spenny?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
All right, 3rd down. And this is one that you all are going to love. Has Jimmy Butler become so underrated that he's actually been overrated?
I think there is a degree of that. This is a great one, by the way. This is a great one. We've seen the metamorphosis of Jimmy Butler, right? The Himmy stuff is in like the first 2 rounds. He's Himmy Butler. And then against the Celtics, he was still good, but he was Jimmy Butler, right? Like a very, very good NBA player. Very good NBA player.
Yeah.
Yesterday, he was James Butler.
He was James Butler, yeah.
So there's been a regression from Himmy to Jimmy to James Butler. Last night he was James. If he has another game like that, he cannot have another game like that.
No, he can't.
And I know, look, I know we love it, right? I know the guys in the back, they worship at the altar of Himmy. Like Himmy is their God. You know, I understand that. But make no mistake about it. This is why I love like the Super Bowl, the NBA Finals. Legacies are written in these series.
Oh, yeah.
You can overcome a bad one, like Jamal Murray. You can thrust yourself up into the stratosphere. You can also turn from Himmy Butler to James Butler at the same time. And I'm not saying it's because it's not a fair fight. This Nuggets team and this Heat team is not a fair fight. But with that being said, at the same time, this is the legacy that gets remembered. Remember, LeBron James is penalized in public opinion for taking that ridiculous Cavs team to the NBA Finals against the Spurs. What's the narrative around it? People don't say, oh, he had Boobie Gibson on the team. They don't say that. They say, oh, he got swept by the Spurs.
Oh, yeah. And that's
the narrative.
And that's utterly ridiculous. And for me, with Jimmy Butler, it's not about him losing a couple of finals where he was the best player. I think it's a great accomplishment that he even got there, and even this year. But I agree with you that it's become a little bit overblown, and I'm more and more convinced now that he can't be the best player on a championship team. I know a lot of people are going to get mad at me for that. In the first round, Jimmy Butler was legitimately like Himothy, JB, Butler, whatever you want to say, whatever superlatives you want to use. He was phenomenal. But in the second round, I'll give you some numbers. He averaged 25, 7, and 6 on 43% shooting, which is not good, and 11% from 3. And in that series, Bam Adebayo gave you 19 and 10 on 53%. So this narrative that, oh, Jimmy Butler carried bums, not true. And you know what else? In the third round, he averaged 25, 8, and 6 on 42% shooting, which isn't very good, 35% from 3, which is better. But you could argue, I think it would be a losing argument, that Caleb Martin actually deserved Eastern Conference Finals MVP because he averaged 19 on 60% from the floor and 49% from 3. So was Jimmy Butler's leadership responsible for those shots going in, or were the players just on a heater? Duncan Robinson shot 48% in the conference finals from 3. Gabe Vincent shot 52% while averaging 16 a game. Jimmy Butler had a ton of help. It's just not from the people that you consider stars. Role players can play above their means and get hot from three, and they can be plenty of help. Jimmy Butler has only been Jimmy Butler for round one. The rest of the series is he's been a very good NBA player.
Series I.
Yeah.
Series I.
I was going to ask, is it Serie I or Series is?
Serie I.
All right, who's at the power forward spot?
The power forward. Let me.
Or the four, as it's known.
The four, yeah, it's a positionless basketball. Let me pull that up really quick. All right. Is Nikola Jokic the perfect NBA superstar?
It depends on what your goal
Play-wise,
is.
not marketability-wise.
Bingo, that's it. Because he doesn't care.
Yeah.
It's just he shows up at the office and does his thing. He doesn't care. Look, what Jokic commercials do you see? None.
I'm hoping you'd see more, but you don't.
I
But you
want
don't.
to see some.
I don't think he's interested. Like
Boban has more commercials than Jokic.
yeah, I would bet you, and I don't know this for a fact, but I would be willing to bet you that Jokic tells his agent, I don't want any of that shit.
Yeah.
I just want to win the championship and go back to Serbia and hang out on the farm, and then when it's time to come back here, I'll do it.
Yeah.
You know, like I genuinely think that. You listen to his interviews, he's very respectful. He's kind of happy to be here. He's not bombastic. He's not making guarantees. He doesn't tell you, "Oh, I've overcome so much." He just does. Like, so yeah, in theory, is he the perfect NBA superstar? Yes and no. He is from that perspective, but you also aren't getting anything out of him except triple doubles every night that he steps on the floor.
Well, and that's the thing. Now that he's about to lead the Nuggets, presumably to a championship while winning Finals MVP, you see that his style of play, in which it doesn't matter if he's scoring, if Aaron Gordon is scoring, if Michael Porter Jr. is scoring, or Jamal Murray, he is content with just running the offense and letting everybody get involved and just being the orchestrator. If he needs to score 40, he can. If he needs to dish out 15 assists, he can. He truly makes others around him better. So as far as maybe not a perfect NBA superstar, but the perfect number one on a championship team. Because as much as we like to say the Nuggets have a lot of help, which they do, they don't have another all-star. They have a lot of very, very good, maybe fringe all-stars, but Jokic makes them better.
Yeah, they got like KCP is. We've talked about him. KCP is a pro, and Bruce Brown's been nice, man.
Yep.
Been really nice.
Couple of damn good role
Dante
players.
151 says Jokic in a Taco Bell commercial would be funny, which I agree. Some people don't know that.
Yeah.
You know, in the second round of the draft, they go to commercial, but like the NHL or the NBA draft is still going on like the bottom line and everything, and it flashed up. The Nuggets pick Jokic while a Taco Bell commercial.
Yeah, if they bring the quesarito back, Jokic should be the spokesperson for it.
100%. Yeah. So they should do that, but I don't think Jokic cares, man.
And that is fair.
All right, at 5 spot, real quick.
5 spot. Is Michael Malone actually a better coach than Eric Spoelstra?
No.
Dude, on the fly though,
he's good. I mean,
use and look, it helps obviously because you have Jokic. You can execute any
Jokic
offensive
and
game
Murray
plan.
And Porter.
But Jokic can execute any offensive game plan. It is nice to have that weaponry to change things on the spot. But you saw like Miami tried to do the zone. It worked for like 3 possessions. Malone made a shift. He'll have Jokic bring the ball up. They'll start double teaming him on the inbound to take it out of his hand. He'll run something to the left side. Plus, he's a former Oakland University assistant coach, by the way, so you know he's great.
Absolutely. And I know we're running a little bit short on time, but I got to explain this. Eric Spoelstra is another guy. And again, I know a lot of you people aren't going to like this. He's become another one that's been so underrated that he's almost become overrated. People act like since LeBron left the Heat, oh yeah, the Heat have just kept it humming. Yeah, they've made 2 finals, but let me see that championship case trophy. Oh, that's right, there haven't been any since LeBron left. Eric Spoelstra might be the best coach in the NBA, but I think Mike Malone also has a case, at least if they win the finals, which I think they will. It's not Eric Spoelstra that's been the most important Miami Heat figure in the past, I would say, 15 years. It's actually been LeBron, Raymond, James. Check the championship case. He gave you two finals MVPs for all NBAs. It's not all Eric Spoelstra. He's good, but I think a lot of that Eric Spoelstra love is actually kind of backhanded LeBron hate, and I will die on that hill.
Catsbot says Denver hasn't played a single team in the playoffs as close to talented as them. They have had an easy path. I will take that back and say they went up against the most daunting big man maybe in the last decade of NBA basketball in half man, half a series, Anthony Davis, and they swept him. It doesn't get more challenging than to have to go against Anthony Davis. It's the toughest assignment you can have in the NBA. and they rose to the challenge.
He's one of the toughest big men of the past 10 years. Not the most, one of.
He's great.
That's objective.
Every other game, he is great. But every day, Strawberry Fest at Big Boy is great. And it's back right now. You can try the classic breakfast items like the strawberry hotcakes, maybe the mouth-watering red velvet waffle. If you're not a breakfast person, that's cool. I'm not either. Try the strawberry bacon chicken wrap or cool off with the refreshing Summer Splash salad. Don't forget to get dessert. The strawberry pie, it's the OG of Strawberry Fest. It's what created this. They have deep-fried vanilla Oreos or strawberry hot fudge cake as well. All that and more. Get to your local Big Boy today for Strawberry Fest.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, Sam, Flannel. Sam, you people of Flannel, don't worry, Sander Slam coming up in about 20 minutes. BMG, Big Mike Gentry, Spencer Raxter as well. Happy to have you all with us. I got a text here from Doug. Jokic is like the Lidstrom of the NBA. Doesn't want the accolades, just wants to win. And that's what he does.
That's a conversation you might have to have someday. Who's better at their respective sport, Nick Lidstrom or Nikola Jokic? It could be a conversation someday. Lidstrom. As of right now, absolutely. Yeah. But we'll see.
Yeah, you are exactly right. We have BMG in the house, as you know, our resident hockey expert. We will call BMG to the floor here. It's Darren McCarty's 5-4 fighting number 1. First period, Stanley Cup Final starts Saturday. Have we forgotten about hockey? They haven't played in a month.
Yeah, I would say we've forgotten about hockey. The NHL had a perfect window on Wednesday night where they could have played Game 1, where they've had the whole stage to themselves. And especially now with a matchup in which there's good players, and it's obviously in Florida and Las Vegas, but it's not 2 big market teams. So I don't think there's a ton of juice going into this Stanley Cups amongst Bob, sports fan from Montana. And I think that there might have been a little bit more if they'd have started the series sooner. I've almost forgotten that there's a Stanley Cup final, honestly, and I'm a hockey fan.
They need a 7-game series bad. BMG, what do you got on this? Do you even know that they're playing tomorrow? Did you know that?
Yes, I do.
Defend your sport.
I feel like the Florida series kind of made people forget about it because it was over so fast. And to Sam's point, they did have an open spot to play, but I don't know. I think, yeah, you can say that people forgot about it, but once the Stanley Cup starts, people will be back in it.
You think so?
Yeah, 100%.
So I don't know, man. Once you're out of sight, you're out of mind.
I don't know. I think the NBA has kind of taken over a little bit in this past week or so, so I think once it starts, it'll be fun.
They have missed an opportunity.
Yeah. Oh,
they
100%.
They need a 7-game series so bad.
I think it goes 6 games minimum.
It's got to go 7. Yeah. They need it. They have to have it just to grab a sliver of what they've missed back. I feel bad for hockey. I really do, because I like hockey a lot. I like it a lot. I have a B team and a favorite player that's not in my city and everything like that. So all the elements are there.
They got the short end of the stick.
They did.
It's not their fault.
They did it to them. Yeah. No, they did it to themselves.
I mean, like Gary Bettman and hockey and everything, but I'm talking about like the individual teams and players.
All right. Yeah. All right. Second period. Who's America rooting for? It's 2 glamour cities. It's Vegas. It's South Florida. If you were, I would say, I know we're splitting hairs here with this, but better this than, I don't know, Phoenix and Carolina or something like that.
Yeah, go Canes.
Go Canes. R.I.P. Cane season. Who's America rooting for? Because these 2 cities are front of mind. 2 cities everybody likes to vacation. Everybody's been to, I feel like. Who's America rooting for?
I would say Florida, because they have the double whammy of being the ultimate underdog, being the 8 seed, although they're not a typical 8 seed. And also, they've got the best player in the series, in my opinion, by far, in Matthew Tkachuk. And what this series could do for even his standing amongst all NHL players in the league right now, I don't know. I'm talking on a short list with guys like McDavid and Draisaitl and Matthews, and then you're going to talk about Tkachuk, maybe even above some of those guys. So I think he's got more star power, and they have the underdog element. So I'm going Florida.
Hoof Hearted says a lot of hockey fans hate Las Vegas. Mark Walston says Vegas, baby. What's your take on it, BMG? Who do you think America's rooting for?
It's got to be Florida, just the whole story that comes along with them. And I kind of do agree. A lot of people do hate Vegas. They've kind of scummed their way around some stuff, getting some players, Mark Stone, hint, hint. But
really?
Yeah, really. But
is that BMG accusations, or is
that's everyone's accusations? I think everyone
give me one example.
No, Mark Stone, you throw him on the LTIR. They pulled the Tampa Bay move and then bring him out. He was injured the whole year, and then magically, playoff start, the guy's good to go. So it's
it's in the rules. They can do it. What's the problem?
I know. I'm just saying other teams in the past have done it in scummy ways, and you could say Vegas tagged along. But 100%, it's got to be Florida. Just the whole story, going along the 8th seed and past President's Trophy winner. Them making this run, I think it's got to be Florida.
Obviously, I'm rooting for Florida because they always have been kind of my B team, and I want nothing more. As I've said before, I want a Stanley Cup parade that starts at some off-brand smoothie shop in a shopping plaza that goes down a road that's congested with traffic and stops at another shopping plaza that has a liquor store and a Botox place at the end of it. And I want Toronto fans to have to watch that. And I want there to be like 160 people there, that's it. And I want them to say, you know what? The weather's nice. We went to the golf course and the beach instead of the Stanley Cup parade because we don't give a shit. How's that taste, Toronto?
Not even just Toronto. All of Canadian hockey fans be like, they don't even care about hockey. You know what I mean?
And then I want them to look in the camera and say, you're right.
Yeah. And
why
should have won the Stanley Cup then, I guess.
Yeah. So that's how I want to see it play out. But, again, they are kind of my B team. We know how that works. I do need to bring Spenny back in the fold for this one, and Sam Flannel. On average, how much of these games do you think you'll watch? Give me a percentage of each game that you'll think you'll watch. I'll go to Flannel first.
I will probably...
You're more of an NBA guy, admittedly.
I am more of an NBA guy than a hockey guy, but in the Stanley Cup, I will say 75 to 85%.
Of a game?
What I might do is I might tap in maybe midway through the first quarter, and if it's not a blowout, watch the whole rest of the game. Does that make me a casual?
When you call it a quarter instead of a period, when there's only three of them.
Did I say a quarter?
You did say quarter.
It does make you a casual.
Period.
Spenny, how much you watching?
I'll probably watch 85 to 90% of the series.
Really? Get out of here. Yeah. That's probably more than BMG will watch.
Yeah, no, I like hockey, man. I watch a lot of hockey. I watched a lot of the playoffs so far, and I think this is going to be a good... I want to see Eichel and Tkachuk go back and forth at it. So
it is a good matchup, like talent-wise. BMG, you lock in for the whole thing or what?
Yeah, I would say along with Spencer, probably like 85, 90%.
What does BMG watch in that 10% that he's not watching the Stanley Cup
Cup depends.
Finals?
I would say like in the past, all the NBA games were going on at the same time as the NHL, and I was tuning into some of those. But now that they're all on their own day, I will probably be most likely watching the whole game. I might miss a period here and then doing some stuff, but
as we would think, Flannel getting killed right now, saying that hockey is played in quarters.
That was bad.
Can't make that mistake, man.
Hey,
we just talked about NBA for
a while. It happens, Flannel.
Period.
RJ Graham says Florida with a boat parade and the Stanley Cup is thrown from boat to boat. Whatever pisses off Toronto people the most,
would be dope.
That's what I want. If that would be like sacrilegious to them to where they're throwing the cup from boat to boat, then do that.
Do it.
Bring the Stanley Cup into a Botox center in a strip mall.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And have it sit in the lobby.
Put a bunch of silicone in the top of the Stanley Cup.
100%. And then just beam that just to Toronto.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it would be electric, man. It would be awesome. Whatever they can do. Yeah. All right. Where are we at here? First overtime, because there's 5.
Yeah.
And it's hockey. It's not played in quarters.
I know. Oof. Obviously, I know that. I made a mistake.
Fourth quarter, as Sam Flannel would say. TNT and TBS. Really?
Yeah.
Because nothing says hockey more than TNT and TBS. Where can I stream CBC, for Christ's sake?
When I think of TNT, I think of the NBA, and when I think of TBS, I think of Major League Baseball. It's just such a weird sign of the times that's where you have to go to watch Stanley Cup play Stanley Cup games. That's insane to me. I get what you're saying. I get the nostalgia too. So I'm not really what I would say outraged, but it does things that make you go, you know.
BMG, is this the best your people can do?
I don't know. I mean, personally, I don't mind the TNT broadcast.
I like the TNT broadcast.
Yeah, I like Biz and those guys, but I understand where some people don't like them. But personally, myself, I like it. So I don't know. TBS, it's like it is what it is. I
like the Biz Gretzky dynamic on TNT.
Facts.
Would you rather watch it on CBC or TNT?
That's probably TNT.
Liar.
That first, what was it, a 5 overtime game? And it would cut back to Gretzky in the intermissions. He'd be like, like, he did not want to be there. That shit was awesome.
Pete Smith says, are they going to show reruns of Andy Griffith if there's a rain delay?
I mean, to your point exactly, yeah.
Sebastian says, I miss hockey on Versus. Shane says, when I think of TBS, I think of the Big Bang Theory.
Wasn't hockey on Spike for a little while?
I think it was. All right, double overtime, last one, real quick. How much in the NHL draft are you going to watch? You going to stick in through 2 rounds to the Red Wings 3 consecutive picks if they make them?
I will try to time it to where I watch the
parachute in?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to make it so that I'm not late and I don't miss them, but I'm not going to watch all of the first and second round. And to me, I'm a much bigger Red Wings fan than I am all of hockey. So that's mainly what I care about. So that's what I'll do. I'll cherry pick when I watch. But I'll definitely watch up until they pick first.
Man, lots of people in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread, all of it, all the draft. Go draft.
Fuck no, dude. The NHL draft is fucking torture. I'm going to watch the Red Wings picks, but they fucking parade 20 people up there. Oh, hey, how you doing? I love this franchise. Oh, thanks for doing that. That shit is awful. I'll watch the Red Wings picks. That's it.
Uncle Neal Soft Feet says the NHL draft is insufferable.
It is fucking terrible.
Damn. That was aggressive.
Yeah. I slammed like 8 beers when we did the draft show.
Yeah, we did.
Or last year.
He did.
You have the time to.
I have the time to.
He did.
BMG, talk to your people. All right, here's the takeaway, BMG. Talk to your people about the TNT TBS thing for the Stanley Cup Final, and talk to them about the NHL draft. Let's get it moving here.
Yeah,
get a clock on it. Let's go.
No, I agree with Spencer. Last year, doing the draft show, we'll have to do it again this year, but I have to watch the whole thing. They take way too long. They do way too much in between the picks. They need to kind of model it after like the NFL draft, but even make it like quicker than that because a lot of people don't care. So you just need to make it quick. You need to cut out all the BS and then just get straight to the pick.
Revolutions,
Yes.
keep it moving. Like the insurance game, you need to keep that moving.
Other than like the GMs or the coaches, whoever you're going to after, we normally don't care. Just slim it down to the people we care about, keep all the other shit out.
But you should care about who your insurance is through.
Absolutely.
You definitely should. And if your insurance isn't through Swiss Insurance, you're making a mistake because you like our draft picks. Did the GM do his job? Be a boss, take control of your insurance options. Draft a company that will give you the most cost-effective plan and protect you like the best offensive line in the league. Email Swiss Insurance today. That's mark@swissins.com, mark@swissins.com, or go to www.swissins.com and make sure you're protected.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Big Package Friday coming down to the end. We almost have made it to the weekend. Neal, Ruhl, Sam Flannel in for DMAC, BMG, Big Mike Gentry, and of course Spencer Rockstar in the building as well. It's time for some Tigers talk. Another big package, everybody. You know what it is. The rotation. All right, the ace of the staff, #1. Flannel, can the Tigers really do this? Like, in terms of winning the division? Like, would you bet any of your money on it?
Absolutely not, but here's the thing. They just lost Eduardo Rodriguez, their best pitcher by far, and they just lost Riley Green. If they had stayed healthy, I might have been more inclined to say yes, but Eduardo Rodriguez has been pitching like a Cy Young pitcher, and Riley Green...
with that 4-4 record.
But a 2.13 ERA. You know records don't matter as much.
I know.
But in Riley Green, he has basically delivered. He's the one guy out of the young guys that has really delivered. He has an on-base percentage of over 360 and almost 300 batting average. You wouldn't have asked any more from him, but he's gone. And there's fair to ask questions on whether or not he's going to struggle with injuries. I will say no.
You know they haven't gained any ground, though, in games he started, right? They're 4-4.
Run support, bullpen, there's a lot
I know,
of...
but they're 4-4.
Okay, but 2-13...
I've always thought people... I know the analytics crowd... Like, I know about WHIP and all that stuff, obviously. I understand it. WHIP is a much more of a truth teller. But it's a bottom-line game. They don't keep track of WHIP in the standings. They keep track of wins and losses. And they're 4-4 when you pitch.
You can literally have pitched 6 innings, allow 4 runs.
I know, but Flannel, I'm just saying. Like, people act like he's 10-0.
He could be 10-0. He's got a 2.13 ERA. That is elite. That is beyond elite. I don't care about record. Not even a little bit. I mean, obviously I care about the team record, but it's not...
I'm just saying, it's true.
It is
factually
true.
correct.
Did you do well enough to win? Eduardo Rodriguez has in almost every game that he's pitched.
At the number 2 starting spot, how much better do you feel with Scott Harris in charge? Like on a scale of 1 to 10?
I feel 10. Because I had no confidence in Al Avila. And Scott Harris, the thing that I always liked is that he was proven coming from San Francisco, that 2021 job that he did with that team that didn't have a ton of talent. They were the best record in all of baseball. I don't know how much Scott Harris had to do with that, but at least he had a track record and he brought in some players. And even this season, bringing in Zach McKinstry. Zach McKinstry has quietly been one of the more underrated signings in all of Major League Baseball. He has an on-base percentage of over 400. That is absolutely insane. That alone is worth its weight in gold versus anything Al Avila ever did. Hell yeah, I actually believe in Scott Harris, maybe even as much as I do in Troy Weaver at this point.
I would say I'm not quite there. Obviously, you know my answer is 1,000. You know that. It's well documented. You've seen the clips. I would say, though still, so far so good with Scott Harris. Absolutely. No doubt about it. I, however, am still not more confident in Scott Harris than I am happy Al Avila's gone. I don't know that there is a GM. Dave Dombrowski could come back.
Sure.
And I still wouldn't be happier Dombrowski's here than glad Al Avila's gone. There's no bridge to cross.
That plays a big role in it. Like our Al Avila hate. So I understand that. But I'm very happy with Scott Harris, at least the early returns.
Here on Mark M says Tigers haven't lost any ground since Rodriguez has been gone, and that is also factually correct.
So Eduardo Rodriguez is basically net nothing. You guys are insane if you actually
I would say Alex Lang is as valuable as Eduardo Rodriguez.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's not my first day, Sam Flannel.
I know. And Alex Lang's been dominant. Yeah.
Number 3, how much stock do you put in A.J. Hinch? And that can be whatever you want it to mean.
I think that he should be the manager of the Detroit Tigers going forward. I think he did a great job in 2021. I think he's done a great job this year, and he's proven. I know that there's a little bit of a dark cloud hanging around his World Series in 2017, but he's still a World Series winning manager. And the Detroit Tigers were lucky to be able to get him. And I think he's doing a good job. I believe that the Tigers should be patient, and maybe when they're ready to win, he'll still be here. Who are you going to get that's better than A.J. Hinch at this point? I don't think anybody.
I would agree. LFG says, I'm bummed on Tigers' days off, proof that I'm hooked. And LFG, I made the decision. I said I'm going in with no expectations, but I am going in, and I felt the same way yesterday. And tonight I'm excited because I'm going to go out on the deck, and I'm going to turn the ball game on. And they're playing the White Sox. Now this is a little extra because I hate the White Sox with the fire of 1,000 suns. I've been to the park a couple of times.
Who do you hate more, the White Sox or the Twins?
I hate that Twins team from that era more. Okay. That's my most hated baseball team ever.
That's fair.
But right now, in this day and age, I hate the White Sox more. And I'm so happy for their demise. I'm happier about Logan, and I don't talk about it much, But low-key, I'm happier about the White Sox being in this state that they are, especially after last year when they were, the White Sox, they're going to win the division. They're going to make a run at a World Series. They're the chic pick. I love to see them be a disaster last year. And guess what they are again this year? A disaster.
Yep.
And I love it. I absolutely love it. And you know what? Here's another little thing, too, that nobody talks about. People want to ride Detroit and talk bad about Detroit and stuff like that. You ever been to a White Sox game before? Step off that L train there and tell me about the scenery that's right there. I never want to hear anybody talk about, especially if you're from Chicago. You can STFU about anything that goes on in Detroit.
I mean, you can shout Wrigley Field, that's for sure, but you cannot shout the White Sox. I don't even know what they're. Is it U.S. Cellular Field? It's something else now, but yeah.
I'm not having that, man.
Oh, absolutely
not having that at all. It's grim.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, it's cool, like, once you step off the L train and maybe, step over a heroin needle or two or the puddle of piss and then you walk into the stadium, then it's okay. But I never want to hear someone get on Detroit that's from Chicago and has ever been to a White Sox game. Never, ever.
You are 100% right. The scenery surrounding Detroit, the Comerica Park, is actually quite nice. Not in Chicago.
I've never been to Chicago.
What's that?
I've never been to Chicago.
Spenmo, a man like you would do very well on Rush Street.
Yeah.
Look into Rush Street, take a weekend and go.
Yeah.
Please. And send us videos on the hour.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, okay. Just do it on the hour. Number 4. The Tigers are kind of giving off some Rays vibes a little bit, right? In that there's no... It's not exactly the Rays, but like a team that's overlooked, that's certainly not in the market to be spending a lot of money, that kind of sat free agency out this year to some degree. It got me thinking about the Rays. Do you like the Tampa Bay Rays and the way they do stuff? And is it good for baseball?
I respect the way that they do stuff. My thing with the Rays is eventually they have to cash one in order for them to be a true success. Obviously, they've been to 2 World Series. They lost them both. And the way they've been able to construct their rosters and be consistent winners is admirable. I will say this, though. They finally, I think, have that guy who can be that transcendent star in Wander Franco, and Yandy Diaz is another one who I like a lot. I don't know if I like the Rays per se, but you can't not respect what they're doing while also thinking at some point you got to win a World Series or else this whole era will have something missing.
That's fair.
Yeah.
No, that's absolutely fair. But their payroll's like $70 million or something like that, dude. It's some crazy number, and they're still there. They're there all the time. They don't even use a starting pitcher.
No, they
just put a reliever out there. He pitches 2 innings, then they go to the next reliever, then the game's over and they won.
Yep.
Take a spin around their OPS numbers too of their lineup. When you get a second, take a look at it's unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
You'd have to add up 3 of our OPSs to get to their best OPS. Last one before we get to the Slander Sam, easy for me to say segment. Number 5, do you still dig the pitch clock?
Yeah. I didn't think
it's kind of wearing off. It's kind of wearing off a little, like my joy of it. Just
I mean, games are quicker. There's obviously not as much.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that, but the novelty's wearing off.
You forget that it's even there at this, and that's what I was hoping would happen, and I have. And games are quicker and they flow a little bit better, so I'm cool with it.
Fair enough. All right, take the final break. Come back. It's time for you to get your shots in on Flannel Sam. We tell you about Planet Fitness, home of the Judgment Free Zone, the official studio sponsor right here of Woodward Sports, a place I was working out at no more than 3 hours ago, as a matter of fact. Get my miles in there on a Friday. Feeling good. Got the workouts done for the week. Get to roll into the weekend. $10 a month, access to your home club. They have the black card option, $24.99 a month. You basically own Planet Fitness. You can go to anyone in the world. You can bring a guest anytime you want. Like I said, you own it. Tons of cardio equipment, tons of weight. You're never going to be waiting for anything at Planet Fitness. Get in, get your business handled, go on about your day. Go to planetfitness.com or just pull in the parking lot. You can join there. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Final segment of the show, Big D Energy on a Friday, Big Package Friday. Neal, Ruhl, Sam Flannel, BMG, Big Mike Gentry, Spencer Raxter here with you as well. Real quick, the away fan, Neal, who do you hate more, the White Sox or the Maple Leafs? I would say I hate the Maple Leafs in that zone of the playoffs more than the White Sox. But the other 11 and a half months of the year, because the Leafs aren't in the playoffs for a very long time, I hate the White Sox more the rest of the time. But it's a real concentrated white-hot hate of the Maple Leafs, and then it goes away. But the White Sox is constant. So there is that. It is time. It's time to slander Sam Flannel. That's right. Any kind of flannel slander you have, throw it in the chat. We will get to it. Here's an example to get you started. Shane Sandrock says, Sam Flannel endorses Lady Jane's but still has a 12-year-old haircut.
I saw that one. I mean, I always come back with the same remark. At least my wife likes it, and it's all that matters. I'm not looking for anyone's validation. Yeah, I know. I see that up there. I see that wasn't my best choice. But you know what? I've grown up.
Jack Harrington says Sam is a bandwagon Kansas City Chiefs fan.
Well, the Lions haven't made the playoffs a lot lately. I'm not a bandwagon Chiefs fan, but when they get into the playoffs, I root for them.
Would you say, Jack Harrington, Sam meat rides Mahomes? Would you say you meat ride Patrick Mahomes?
Yes.
Yes, he
does. Hey, it's fair. Also, I would not miss this segment for anything. I feel like there are... Viewership's gone up 6% too.
Yep.
Since we started this segment, I feel like people have parachuted back in. They're like, Tiger Talk, F that. Oh, it's time to slander Sam Flannel? Let's go, turn up. Shane also, man, Shane's got a vendetta against you. Sam Flannel calls his wife after each show to get an ego boost. Is that true?
I've done it a few times. When you guys have made me feel so bad about myself, come on. I'm a man with feelings.
You're the man, Flannel.
Thank you. Hey, I get them from Spenny sometimes too, and you're the man as well.
Detroit Dabber 313 has a good one. Quote: I'm not looking for validation, but as long as my wife likes it. Unquote.
I don't need your guys' validation. Because at the end of the day, I mean, my wife's validation is more important than all of you.
And he's better than you.
I'm not better than you.
Ryan's reaction. Flannel, would you say you got your job at Woodward Sports because of luck?
Actually, yes. It was more right place, right time with a hint of networking.
Is that what it was? Zachary Jones says this is the greatest segment ever. There's a lot of that, too, as well. Let me see. Man, these things are flying in.
Yeah, they're coming in hot.
David Mentier, does Flannel Sam buy his Michigan gear at Walmart? Have you ever bought a Michigan shirt at Walmart?
No, I go to
Dunham's.
I'm either online or I go to the Emden in the Novi Mall.
All right. Jake Wegener says Sam expects us to take his opinion seriously while also showing up to work every day dressed as a tablecloth. There's a backstory to that.
Damn.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Factually, you are not wrong. But Flannel, in a bold, I dared him more or less to wear a flannel every single day for a year, and he said yeah. And I said, well, I'm 365 working days a year, a working day year. And he said, okay. What number are we at?
289.
That is wild. It's been over a year, right? Like a year of calendar time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Because I've been producing the show for more than a year, and we were at the teens when I got in here.
Wow. That is incredible, dude.
It really is.
Here's a personal one, and you don't have to answer this one if you don't want to, okay? It's Steve DeJong says, Sam, would you leave your wife if LeBron gave you a hug?
No. But I would accept the hug from LeBron. I'd make it a group hug.
He thought about it.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Chromium says, Neal, read faster. I'm a man. Like, I'm a human being. You guys, you stop it or I'll cut the show off early. I'll turn this show right around.
I will turn the show around.
Robert Colosia says Flannel is a big Meijer shirt guy. Have you ever bought one at Meijer?
No, I haven't
Liar.
bought one.
David E. Walker. David, I haven't seen you here before. I appreciate you tapping in. It's a weird. We do a Slander Sam segment.
They come out of the woodwork.
They come out of the woodwork. Never forget the Eminem slander.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Spenny, you agree with me
I
for the
agree
most
with you,
part.
yeah.
He's very, very good, has some good albums, has some good songs, but he's nowhere near the top of the list of rappers all time.
I agree.
I know we're in Detroit and every single thing that a Detroit person has done just like gets elevated to the top on everything, but no, Eminem,
He's not in my top 5.
he's not in my top 5 either. Maybe top 15, 20. Maybe.
Dirty Dr. D. Sam, would you lick AD's eyebrow for a dinner date with him?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Think about it again, would you?
I would not. He's one of my favorite players, but
Okay, John Lord. This is a good one to end it on. Keep, cut, kill. Patrick Mahomes, LeBron, Anthony Davis.
keep LeBron, cut Patrick Mahomes, kill Anthony Davis.
That's a good one.
That's
really
probably
good.
how I would answer that
Yeah,
one
me
too. To be honest. Peaceful Tim says, well, see you later, fellas. Have a good weekend. Yes, everybody have a good weekend. BMG, appreciate you tapping in as well. We'll do this again. The people demand that we do this again.
It for sure.
Matter of fact, Monday, it'll be 2 hours of and we'll have our highest ratings ever, as a matter of fact. So for BMG, for Spencer Raxter, for Sam Flannel, my name's Neal Ruhl. Thanks for tapping in. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.